Welcome to VSB News Online for Tuesday, September 15th. I'm Peter Kitzel. The role of the private sector in the aging process was outlined today by Health Minister Jean Atherton during Age Concerns annual general meeting. Speaking to an audience of some 250 seniors, the minister touched on a variety of issues pertaining to aging, particularly in the area of opportunities created.
If seniors are living longer, there's an opportunity for seniors to also look out for other seniors. And so as we go forward, we have different ways in which to look at this whole workforce as you and I know it. And so I want to say that as it relates to the current status, we recognize that we've reached a situation where as we try and deal with what we're trying to do in terms of health, it has shifted from just being the government that is out there trying to do things. Because the recognition is, with all of what is happening as you deal with aging, with all of what is happening as you try and focus on what does it mean to age, you have to start to understand the process, you have to start to get information about the effects of aging on individuals, the effect of aging on the healthcare system, and therefore that has meant that other people have started to come into the mix. And when I say other people, these are the private sector, people out there that are private providers, also people out there of what I call the third sector, the individuals, the agencies that are out there and work with the government and work with the private sector. And so from a current status point of view, we have to recognize and appreciate that with more people coming in and saying that there's a void here, I don't expect government to fill it, because I have an interest and I realize that if I make a contribution, we can work with that. You have many more agencies coming up, like your Diabetes Association, you have people like your Alzheimer's associations. All of these are out there and they are working because they recognize that the diseases and the illnesses that seniors have, by working on it and understanding the impact, we can turn around and not only come up with cures, we can also turn around and figure out how people can develop and age better and also be able to live better lives.
The Cash Back for Communities program today saw 5 helping organizations collect checks totaling $90,000 from the proceeds of crime for their work with Bermuda's young people. Premier Michael Dunkley and Community, Culture and Sports Minister Patricia Gordon-Pamplin handed out the checks in the Cabinet building. The Premier said one of Bermuda's greatest strengths lies in the many community-based organizations that have grown out of people's desire to help and support one another. Claire Mello of YouthNet, Garon Wilkinson, the Bermuda Sandshoe Association, and Tankisha Welch of the Bermuda Netball Association voiced their appreciation.
The recipients are as follows: the Bermuda Sandshoe Association, the Bermuda Netball Association, Beyond Rugby, the Hamilton Parish Football Club, and YouthNet. On behalf of the government and the people of Bermuda, I want to take this opportunity to thank each recipient for their work with our young people. Their success speaks for themselves, and I'm very pleased today with my colleague to be able to offer government support and help to continue their good work. I will say before I present the checks that I'd like to acknowledge that in the future, when funds become available from the Confiscated Assets Fund, we'll continue to make presentations like we have done today. I also acknowledge that there are many organizations in our community who do great work, and there'll be some that will be disappointed that they weren't called for today's presentation. We understand those concerns, and we'll do our best to continue to meet the needs of the community.
A heartfelt thank you to the Minister and our Premier for this, and to the government for this initiative. I think it's a fantastic initiative that can benefit, that will continue to benefit nonprofits, and certainly in this economic time, we're called upon to be a little bit more nimble and adaptable, and do a little bit more with less, so this is even more welcome. So thank you very much.
Bermuda Central Association has been flying the Bermuda flag for 10 years now, and one of the difficulties that we've always had is to secure funding. When we started out, it was actually a lot easier than it is now. Since the financial crisis, dollars have been really tight. So we're just really grateful for the opportunity, and we'll continue to represent the country with pride.
This will go a long way towards our strategic initiatives as we continue to strive to be the #1 sport in Bermuda, and to also increase our membership, and to also send our juniors away for international tournaments, and to just increase our outreach in the community.
Bermuda's final estimate for its gross domestic product in 2014 has been measured at $5.7 billion, a marginal 0.2% improvement on the 2013 figure, and, on the face of it, an indication of a sluggish economy. But there is more to it than meets the eye, as Brian Darby reports.
There are 18 industries making up Bermuda's gross domestic product, and in fact their experiences in 2014 give a much clearer idea of the island's economic trends than the GDP figure alone. For example, agriculture, forestry and fishing declined 11.6% thanks to crop losses from the visit of the 2 hurricanes in October and a decrease in the amount of fish caught. Construction experienced only a marginal 0.6% improvement, thanks also to hurricanes, and the hotels and restaurants only increased 0.1%, although restaurant receipts went up 7%, while growth in hotel activity went down 4%. Real estate rose 1.9%, the first such increase since 2011, and the wholesale and retail trades rose 1.1% after 5 consecutive years of decline. In the international business sector, which contributed 27% of the total GDP, financial companies increased their value by 27%, while insurance-related firms saw a 2.3% decline in value added, and on a happier note, lawyers saw their business improve 13.9%. Brian Darby reporting for VSB News.
For the past 20 years, Bishop Robert Kurtz has distinguished himself as the senior prelate of the Roman Catholic Church in Bermuda. As part of his retirement calendar, he celebrates an anniversary Mass tonight at the Cedar Avenue Cathedral, and on the 1st of October, a service of ordination for his successor. In part 2 of a 2-part interview, Bishop Kurtz dismisses as a conspiracy theory a local church's assertion that the Roman Catholic Church is seeking world power.
This is a painful situation because we've had a situation with some of the people of that campaign putting placards on cars in our own Catholic church parking lots and things of that nature. That doesn't help the ecumenical effort. I can understand what they mean in one sense, to say that certainly our effort is to try to reach the whole world, but I think all churches want to do that. When it's painted in kind of a, I don't know, conspiracy theory language, that's dangerous because you can't fight conspiracy theories. And it really, it kind of erodes the collaboration and the cooperation between so many of the churches that work so well together. And quite frankly, I think some of our people and our clergy too felt hurt by the fact that this kind of seemingly a directed attack to the Catholic Church, besides, you know, it doesn't help ecumenism. I think we should preach the gospel and not preach against what other people hold.
Pain aside, Bishop Kurtz speaks of the joys of the past 20 years of life in Bermuda.
I'm sitting here in this beautiful home that the church provides for me, and when I go back to Chicago, I will be living in a religious community that will be half the size of this front room.
Very Spartan.
But I'll have common areas in which I can take advantage of. I'm going to miss the beauty of the island. I'll also miss the beauty of the people. Quite frankly, oftentimes in the United States, like in some of our communities on the periphery of Chicago, we have what I call lily white suburbs.
Right.
So when I celebrate Mass, I'm used to seeing a very mixed community. We are I think Bermuda is a very cosmopolitan and mixed society. At our 11:30 Mass, we have people from Bermuda, Canada, the United States, Bangladesh, the Philippines, and it's just all one community. So it's a beautiful experience of the universality of the faith. We have, of course, a mixed society in the United States as well, but I will miss that. And of course, the friendships that develop over 20 years, there's something that happens over the long haul. You can be sent to a diocese and be there for 3 or 4 years and do a lot of good work administratively, but the bonding with people doesn't take place to the same degree of being in a small, tight-knit community like Bermuda. And the friendships will perdure, at least from my perspective, they will perdure. And as I leave, I'm certainly going to keep Bermuda and the people of Bermuda, of the church and society, in my heart.
And we'll be back with more news right after this.
The Marketplace Food Court is you and your family's one-stop shop. Start your day at the Breakfast Bar with omelets made to order and traditional Bermuda codfish breakfast. The chefs will cook lunch and dinner to your liking. Along with the salad bar, sandwich bar, sushi bar, and fruit bar, the Marketplace Food Court is your kitchen away from home. Every day is hassle-free with nutritious meals from the Marketplace Food Court. Visit us 7 days a week. Homemade cooking, quality service, all at prices you can count on.
A new international entrepreneurial program called the Ice House Initiative has caught fire in North America and other parts of the world, and now it's coming to Bermuda. Co-founder Gary Schoeniger will be teaching staff and clients of the Bermuda Economic Development Corporation so they can introduce the program in the fall. But tomorrow night at the Cathedral Hall, starting at 6 p.m., he will give a public presentation on what makes the Ice House concept tick.
Ice House entrepreneur came from one of the entrepreneurs that we interviewed. His name is Clifton Talbert, who was one of the founders of the Stairmaster Exercise Company. And when I asked him on camera, how did you learn how to be an entrepreneur, he explained to me that he had come from a poor cotton community in the Deep South in the U.S., in Mississippi. Born to a teenage mother, didn't know a father, and he had been picking cotton like people at the time. And when he was a 13-year-old boy, his uncle Cleve owned the local ice house. And his uncle Cleve invited him to work alongside as his helper at the ice house. And he said, it was my Uncle Cleve that taught me how to think like an entrepreneur. And so that's the story. It's an ice house entrepreneur. These are people that don't have any particular advantage in life, yet they learn to think differently. And it's the difference in their thinking that affords them different outcomes.
So you're not really inventing the wheel, you're inventing your mind.
That's a great way to put it. And as Clifton said to me in my original interview with him, long before the word entrepreneur became popular, the concept still existed. And what we've tried to do is look beneath the surface, beneath the artifacts or the espoused values, and get to the deeper underlying beliefs and assumptions that are really driving the behavior.
Got nothing to do with age or sex.
It's got nothing to do with age or sex or traits. It's much more of an environmental affect than it is a trait.
So when you come to see us this time, coming to a very entrepreneurial island, you'll be glad to hear.
Yes.
What message would you want to get across in the time you have?
So the message I really want to get across is the idea that entrepreneurship can empower ordinary people to do extraordinary things. You don't need access to venture capital. You don't need a world-changing idea. It's just a different way of thinking that can empower people. And it can empower people beyond just starting a business. It can empower people within an existing organization or for those who want to start something new.
KBB is hoping to have over 500 volunteers scouring Bermuda's coastline this Saturday on its annual coastal cleanup, sponsored by Ernst & Young. As Executive Director Ann Hyde points out, they will be part of the 30th International Coastal Cleanup, which last year attracted 91 countries and over 560,000 volunteers.
Now this is our Marine Environment Day. In May we have our roadside cleanup, our spring clean, and in September we always join in with the marine cleanup. This is not only good for Bermuda, but it's a global effort. So when we're joining in with almost 100 other countries. And we're thrilled to have our partners, our local partners, joining in. We've been doing this for over 30 years, doing the marine cleanup. This is the one day where we actually ask you to gather data.
Yes.
So you're telling every single piece of litter that you pick up, and this is important research.
For the future.
For the future. It tells us where we are year to year in Bermuda. It also compares Bermuda with the other countries that are involved in the study. It gives a global picture of how bad our ocean pollution is. The ocean is something that connects us all. This is something that we're in the center of. The sea surrounds us. It's very important to Bermuda. So we hope more people will join in the cleanup. It's always the third Saturday in September.
So they can pick a beach.
Yes. This is the International Coastal Cleanup that's organized by Ocean Conservancy, who are headquartered in Washington, D.C. They can pick a beach. They do need to register with me. They obviously have to call in to KBB. We might have 3 teams trying to do the same beach, and the next beach over is empty. So it's important to not only have the desire to do something good for Bermuda, but to also get in touch and let us know what your plans are. We'll give you the instructions, the data collection cards, happy to supply you with supplies, bags, and gloves. We have event t-shirts, we have KBB string backpacks, snacks. Bring your own water bottle, your own water shoes, your hat, your bathing suit. This is a great opportunity. You can either jump in, snorkel, dive, beachcomb. You can be sitting in the shade as the scribe, tallying each item as it's being called out by your colleagues. So there's lots of different roles that you can play in being a part of this event.
And now we turn to Earl Baisden with the latest from the sports desk.
The LF Wade International Airport was busy last night with athletes returning from competition. St. Wally Woolridge with a gold medal around his neck from the second Pan American San Charles Sandoc Cup in Mexico talked about his approach to his fight.
For me, I just take it one fight at a time. So I knew after Venezuela, I had another match, which was Mexico after that. So of course I was excited, but I was just ready to go again.
Meanwhile, Real Bowen said what he would do differently against his opponent that would net him a gold medal and not the bronze he wore around his neck.
Mixing my combinations up a lot more, going from punches to kicks to takedowns a lot better and a lot easier. Working my clinch game a lot more and making my options within the clinch game a lot better and smoother, my transitions.
Also returning last night was the Bermuda's Youth Commonwealth Games team. Chef de Mission Cal Simons was pleased overall with the athletes.
I think the team here performed extremely well as it relates to their learning experiences. It's untouchable. I think that the information I gave to them was to get as much information as you possibly can from the athletes, from the organizers, from the officials, and I think that's what they did. They developed relationships there, and I'm certain that they will be lifelong relationships where they will see each other again, and hopefully in a major competition.
Middle distance runner David Darrow spoke on behalf of the athletes.
I can pretty much say that we guys enjoyed ourselves, and that throughout this competition we've really grown as a group and definitely developed our skills and our sports. We've learned a lot, and just as Mr. Simon said, we've taken a lot of information away from this experience.
The Bermuda Football Coaches Association hosted a presentation at the National Sports Center Pavilion yesterday evening for coaches who have passed the UEFA equivalent C license course. In addition, 6 coaches have advanced to the B license course. Dennis Brown from the Somerset Trojans, who advanced to the B license course, has this message for those who do not believe in gaining extra coaching knowledge.
Well, to me personally, if a person feels that they can never learn anything or continue to learn anything, to me, then they don't give themselves a position to grow in life. As a coach, you never stop learning. I've been coaching for roughly 30 years. And like I said, you never stop learning. I'm always seeking information as new things in coaching. So this was a no-brainer for me because this is something that I never had, the C license. So this was one of my things. Now I'm moving on to the B license and then hopefully the A license. So to me, as long as I have life and I have the strength and the energy, you know, I want to try to go as far as possible in coaching.
Jacques Cavazier, who has worked with Gerard Houllier from Liverpool and Arsene Wenger from Arsenal, has been coming to Bermuda since 2005, loves watching coaches work together and improve.
You know, it's so nice. Did you see these guys in the room? So they are enthusiastic, they love football, they are good listeners. I even can make them come on time. It's not easy, Bermuda. And they do it, and after 40 hours, honestly, their level is better. So it's nice to have people so passionate, and you can see the evolution of these guys. And now, of course, I know a little bit more the Bermudan mentality because I started in 2005 to come, you know, and now we will have more than 100 coaches. So that I'm happy because we are going forward. We said we want to do something, but we do, and we'll be keeping the same principles in order to have as many coaches at the C and also have B coaches. That is a very good level in Europe with a B license, and I'm very happy in this group. We have 6 guys who got 80 points who can go to the B license.
2 Game 3s will be needed in the 2015 inline ball hockey playoff semi-finals after action concluded at the PCC hockey rink last evening. The Somerset Snappers drew level at 1-1 with the Paget Pistols following Game 2 of their semi-finals, recording a 10-6 come-from-behind win. The Paget Pistols held a 3-1 lead at the end of the first period, but when the horn sounded to end the second period, the Somerset Snappers were within 1 with a score of 5-4, with the Paget Pistols outscoring the Snappers 3-2. The third and final period saw the Somerset Snappers score 6 times and restrict the Paget Pistols to 1 goal. Christopher Jackson led the Somerset Snappers to victory with 4 goals, while Jeff Morash added a hat-trick. Richard Campbell scored twice and Tom Miller scored the other. Joe Neal scored a hat-trick for the Paget Pistols, while Greg Vandermeer scored twice and Chris Grantier scored the other. The St. George's Generals came from behind to defeat the Pembroke Pirates 12-6 to also level their series at 1-1. Trailing 4-3 at the end of the first period, the St. George's Generals scored 4 times in the second period and restricted the Pembroke Pirates to 1 goal to take a 7-5 lead. The St. George's Generals then outscored the Pembroke Pirates 5-1 in the final period to claim Game 2. Jeff Engelman led the St. George's Generals to victory with 5 goals. Michael Daly, Patrick Neal, and Mike Malak all scored 2 goals each. Pete Brodsky added the other. Max Bovian scored a hat-trick for the Pembroke Pirates, while Ryan Wilson, David Provost, and Warren Miller all added a goal each. The first games were played last Wednesday, with the Game 3 scheduled for Wednesday night at the PCC hockey rink. The Champions of Champions, as well as the Bermuda Cricket Board's Premier and First Division matches, took center stage this past weekend. Now we take a look at the top performers. In the batting department, St. David's Cricket Club captain O.J. Pitcher was the top scorer for the weekend with a knock of 100 not out against the Somerset Cricket Club, while his teammate Shea Pitcher in the same game had the second best knock, scoring 74. Ryan Shepard from Willowcott scored 50 before retiring against Flats Victoria in their Premier Division match. With figures of 8.5 overs, 2 maidens, 5 for 33, saw Dean Stevens from Willowcott return the best bowling figures of the weekend in his team's Premier Division win over Flats Victoria. Alan Douglas Jr. from Cleveland County was the week's second top bowler, returning figures of 6.3 overs, 1 maiden, 4 for 16 in his team's Champion of Champions win over Willowcott's. And with figures of 6.3 overs, 4 for 33, saw Darren England from PHC have the third best figures of the week in his First Division match against the Bermuda Under-18 national team. I'm Earl Basden reporting for VSB Sports.
Looking at the weather for Wednesday, September 16th, there will be a mix of sun and cloud with 1 or 2 showers. Winds will be north-northeasterly, light to moderate, veering northeasterly overnight. We are expecting a high near 83 Fahrenheit and a low near 76 Fahrenheit. This weather forecast is courtesy of the Bermuda Weather Service. Thank you for watching VSB News Online for Tuesday, September 15th. I'm Peter Kitzel.